Hello everybody, this is the iPhone channel here. Over here is the iPhone Air, and today I'm going to review to you guys the iPhone Air to see whether or not it is worth it, or should you just skip it and buy another phone. So why not? Let's go. So first off, why not? Let's look at the price, because the iPhone Air starts at $1,000 over here, as you guys can see, and it comes with 3 storage options, specifically a 256 gigabytes, which is the base storage capacity at $1,000, 512 gigabytes, which is the mid-tier storage capacity for $200 more at $1,200, and of course the 1 terabyte option, which is the top tier storage capacity at $1,400. And there are also 4 different colors for the iPhone Air, including sky blue, light gold, cloud white, which is what I have over here, as well as space black. At 165 grams, the iPhone Air is the lightest iPhone since the iPhone 13 mini at 141 grams and the iPhone SE3 at 144 grams, but it is actually 2 grams lighter than that of the iPhone 16e and about 12 grams lighter than that of the iPhone 17. However, the weight is not the biggest thing, as the biggest thing is in its thickness, because the iPhone Air is only 5.64 millimeters thick, making it the thinnest iPhone on record, even thinner than that of the iPhone 6. So that means the iPhone Air did dethrone the iPhone 6, which held the title of the thinnest iPhone for 11 years at 6.9 millimeters. Okay guys, so here is the iPhone Air versus the iPhone 6, 2 of the thinnest iPhones. And of course we all know the 6 Plus is prone to the bend gate issue. However, despite the thickness as well as the weight, the iPhone Air is slightly bigger than that of the 17, ironically. In fact, it is 6.6 millimeters taller, as well as 3.1 millimeters wider. Now moving on to the screen, the iPhone Air has a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR display with a pixel density of 460 pixels per inch, as well as ProMotion, aka 120 Hz, just like that of other iPhone 17 variants, and it also has always on display as well, as you guys can see. However, despite this screen size to accommodate for the thickness, in fact the iPhone Air has a significantly smaller battery than that of the iPhone 17. In fact, the iPhone Air has a 3149 mAh battery, which is smaller than that of the iPhone 17, with a battery capacity of 2692 mAh. So of course battery life would be affected. And not only was the battery affected, the iPhone Air also only has a single lens camera, so no ultra wide or telephoto lens. And over here is the flash. And in the back, the iPhone Air is made of ceramic shield. And on the sides, it is titanium, definitely more premium than that of the other iPhone 17 and 17 Pro models, of which all of the other models have aluminium frames. In fact, the titanium frame gives this a more premium feel. And in the front, you have ceramic shield 2, making it 3 times more scratch resistant than that of ceramic shield 1. And giving the materials and design, I do believe the iPhone Air is definitely the most beautiful out of the 2025 iPhone variants. I do believe so, based on the thickness as well as the design materials. In fact, titanium is what's used on the 15 Pro and 16 Pro series. And even though there are many design changes, it still retains one signature feature in terms of its water resistance, IP68 water resistance rating. And not only that, the transfer speeds are still stuck at USB-C 2.0 standards, aka 480 megabits per second transfer speeds rather than 10 gigabits per second transfer speeds like what's seen on USB-C 3.0. And even with that, the brightness did improve. In fact, even though the indoor brightness and HDR brightness still remain the same at 1000 nits max and 1600 nits max respectively, if you were to go outdoors, instead of having a max brightness of 2000 nits, in fact, there is a max brightness of 3000 nits, just like what's seen on the other iPhone 17 models. So why not? Let's go into the processing department, as the iPhone Air has the A19 Pro, which is similar to that of the iPhone 17 Pro line rather than the iPhone 17 line. And the A19 Pro over here is a hexacore processor with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, with the 2 performance cores being clocked at 4.26 GHz, whilst the 4 efficiency cores are clocked at 2.6 GHz. And despite having the same A19 Pro as that of the 17 Pro lineup, the iPhone Air only has a 5-core GPU instead of a 6-core GPU. However, there's still newer accelerators on the GPU, just like what's seen on the 17 and 17 Pro lineup. And there is 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5X 8533 RAM on the iPhone Air, just like that of the 17 Pro lineup, which is quite decent. And over here are the Geekbench 6 CPU benchmark results. And why not? Let me discuss to you guys the differences between the A19 and A19 Pro. However, despite the fact the iPhone Air does share the same A19 Pro processor with that of the 17 Pro series, in fact, there is one major difference other than the fact there is one less GPU core. In fact, there is no vapor chamber, which means the iPhone Air would throttle when put under high stress and under high usage. And another disadvantage of the iPhone Air compared with the other iPhone 17 models is the maximum wide charging speed is capped at 20 watts instead of 40 watts like what's seen on the other iPhone 17 models. And that also applies to MagSafe wireless charging as well. However, just like other iPhone 17 models, in fact, the iPhone Air also benefits from the Apple N1 chip, which meant better Wi-Fi 7 capabilities, even though Wi-Fi 7 was included on the iPhone 16 series, and Wi-Fi 7 is shorthand for Wi-Fi 802.11be. And also, there's also support for Bluetooth 6 as well over here. Several more improvements the N1 chip brings is not only in terms of Wi-Fi 7 as well as Bluetooth 6, it also improves Thread alongside improved performance for AirDrop and personal hotspot, better power efficiency, and enhanced security. However, due to the fact the iPhone Air has the C1X chip instead of a Qualcomm chip, in fact, you do not have mmWave 5G at all, even though there's still 5G support, as well as the 2nd gen ultra-wideband chip. So why not? I'm just going to test the Wi-Fi speed test, and I'm going to discuss about SIM cards for a bit, because there are 2 different variants for the iPhone Air. In fact, you do have an eSIM only variant, which is sold in the US, Canada, Mexico, as well as a few other countries, including Japan, and a few Gulf countries such as Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, so about 10 countries, as well as the SIM card option. Now, there is no battery milliamp hour rating difference between either the eSIM only and the SIM card edition, and only the 17 Pro shows a difference. So last up, why not? Let's talk about cameras, shall we? Because the iPhone Air does have a single 48 megapixel fusion camera lens, which is an f1.6 aperture converted to 24 megapixel shots that are sharp and bright in the dark, as well as censorship optical image stabilization, 2x optical zoom over here, but no ultra wide modes. And also, there's no macro photography, so that is kind of a downside compared with the regular 17, but it still supports 4K 60 with Dolby Vision nonetheless. And as for the front-facing camera, it is an 18 megapixel center stage camera, just like the other iPhone 17 models, with an f1.9 aperture with support for 4K 60 frame per second recording. So why not? Without further ado, guys, let me show you guys the camera test. Okay guys, so over here is the front-facing video sample of the 17 on the left, the 17 Air in the middle, and the iPhone 17 Pro on the right. And over here it is the iPhone Air, and yeah, as you guys can see, this is the video sample, and I'm currently in my apartment now. Okay guys, over here is the video sample for the iPhone Air. And I'm currently at a discreet location, but it is definitely outside. You've been waiting for this. Over here, it's a conclusion. Should you buy the iPhone Air? In my opinion, it is quite nuanced. Let me discuss to you guys. The iPhone Air is really best if you want a thin and light phone, say if you have small pockets, and if you want a reasonably fast phone. But for $200 more than a regular 17, I'm kind of debating whether or not the iPhone Air is really worth it or not, as there's several sacrifices to be made for the beautiful design and a status symbol, including the smaller battery, slower charging speeds, no mmWave support, no ultra-wide camera, and no macro photography. But nonetheless, compared with the 17, you still have like better materials, a thinner phone, as well as a bigger screen, and a slightly faster processor with slightly more RAM. So I'm kind of debating on whether or not it's worth it to pay $200 more to lose a few features, but then to gain a few more. I'm not really sure. But anyways, the iPhone Air is readily available at the Apple Store. So thank you guys for watching. Please give a big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys soon.